Okay, well, I just have been gardening with Claude and I got the message that we should make this video because the last video we put a lot of interesting information out. Lindsay and I were talking about being conscious in our lovemaking, and this morning my yoga class, some of my students had watched that video and they had a lot of questions. You know, I said don't private message me, which I really am grateful you both or everyone, you know, put messages in the comments and did not private message me like crazy this time. I do appreciate that. But there are some things that I want to talk about because things are coming up very quickly. And when I talked to Claude about this yesterday, he described the process that happened for him when he first discovered the unconscious, what he called the pygmy eye inside of him. And it was kind of like an entity, and I'm not sure whether it's self-created or it's something that comes into your energy field and uses your sexual energy. But Claude was able to describe this, and we went through a very profound process together. We've been together since, we've known each other since 2005. Claude has been living with me here since 2007. And the hardest work that we've ever done was the work between man and woman. And we work very hard. We're, you know, we both are farmers and we've raised children together. And, you know, we've done a lot of things. Claude is a professional musician and is now a full-time farmer. So we really worked hard to bring the love between man and woman together. And when we met, I had a very strong dream of, we were in the river together and we were washing each other so that I was putting water on him and washing him, and he was putting water on me and washing me. And I knew that that would be our journey together. I knew that we would go through pretty much every psychic wound that the collective has, because my star family had told me when I met him, you have to do this with him. This is something that you must do because we're going to go through a dimensional shift. Now in 2005 and 2006, I really didn't know what that meant, but at that time I was clairaudient and my star family was saying really like, you have to do this with him. And I won't get into all the details of what we went through, but only my children really know what we went through. And the children, you know, the children really, they also played a very profound role in holding space for us and being really noble in that ability to let us work through the things of man and woman. Now, to get to the point of this video, which I think is essential right now, because my yoga students and some of my friends have said, wow, that this has just brought a lot up. And what it just brought up was we have now made something really conscious, and that is a etheric implant in the bodies of possibly both men and women that is looking through our eyes. And my yoga students were like, what are you talking about, Lalita? And in the ether realms, which is a slightly different light spectrum, you possibly could see it. You may not be able to see it. Some shamans can see entities and lower light family that engage with our body. Now, once this thing becomes conscious, that you may have an entity working with you and directing your thoughts and directing your actions, it's almost like a parasite. So I say don't be afraid of it, because we all have parasites. We've all had different kinds of bacterias and viruses and things that move through us, and they cause certain reactions and we change. Now, when Claude became conscious that this thing was in him and he looked at it, and he really looked at the thing got outraged. That's what Claude told me, right, hun? Mm-hmm. The thing got like really angry And then it was trying to make Claude angry. And he realized that this thing was something separate from him. It was within him, and a lot of his behaviors were because of this thing that can be called the pygmy eye. You can call it an etheric implant. I don't know. You know, it doesn't matter what you call it. It's part of being in a human body. This is the big wake up that's happening on the planet right now, is that our consciousness has been controlled. It's been controlled in the plasma field. There's definitely a matrix. There are satellites that beam information down. There have been chemtrails that had all kinds of weird parasites in it. And this is not to freak anyone out, but what I realize is now some of you are seeing this entity, the pygmy eye, and it's getting mad, isn't it? Because some people are immediately like, oh my gosh, I can't even live in the house with my husband anymore. Like, we immediately need to get out of the same location. Well, now hold on and just breathe for a second and feel the earth, and that you are completely supported. But once that pygmy eye or those etheric implants realize that you're onto them, and that you're starting to see that that negative behavior or that lower level emotion is not yours, but it's part of some entity that's in your body, it can get really angry, like dangerously angry, because it's been spotted for the first time. Now, Claude told me yesterday, and I'm making this video because he's really good at like deciding to sit here with me so that you can see us both, okay? We've worked so hard together, and I knew that the biggest service that I could do for this planet is to love man, to really love him. And that is really the biggest service that we can all do right now, is because the love between man and woman is the one thing, okay, that will allow this planet to raise its vibration very quickly. So back to the consciousness of something that might be in a different light spectrum, might be an etheric implant, might be an entity, parasite that invades your space. Immediately keep your eye on it, because Claude said that if he kept his eye on it, the thing started to disintegrate. It's all about your consciousness. So whenever I have a negative thought, I immediately know that something has entered my energy field. Like, there's no way that pure love and that the goddess could be having a negative thought about humanity. So as soon as I even have a negative thought, I know something's in my energy field. And I say, no, So I keep my consciousness on that. In men, what Claude described to me yesterday is the thing feels greedy. It's like it wants. It's a getting entity. It's greedy. It wants to possess. It wants to control. It's very greedy. And it likes to scare people. So anger will immediately come up. Irrational behavior, rage, stalking, terrifying. And some of you are experiencing this right now, which is why I'm making this video for you. Claude and I have been through all of this. So what I also want to say is that you can do it. You can absolutely do it, because we now live in a place that is like paradise, and we're creating paradise every day together. We practice yoga together, we ride our horses together, we take our walks together, we eat our dinners together, and we love each other tremendously. We have an incredible deep relationship in sexual love, and our purpose here is to allow the consciousness of Gaia to ascend and for all humanity to ascend. So this video is just a very quick, again, I'm going to say that this part of the human experience is that we have things in the plasma field, things in the etheric field, beings that exist in a different light spectrum. They're kind of like parasites. And the moment you put your consciousness on them, they can get really angry. So what you do is you keep your consciousness on them. And you don't have to respond in anger. You can respond just in divine neutrality and love. What I often asked Claude to do when this was coming up is I asked him to just keep looking in my eyes. I would ask him to just keep looking in my eyes, because the thing can't look into the eyes of love. Once Claude would really focus and look in my eyes, he would come back into his body. This is probably going to raise even more questions. And I had a very divine astrology reading with a sister yesterday who is doing the same work. She's almost like, can I do it? Or do I just want to move to Sedona and hide and live in a cave? Is it worth it? Do we really need men? Yes, we need men. Because man is our divine counterpart. That is why we're here, is to realize that love, and that we are love, and that we're in unity consciousness, and that unity consciousness includes men. So do the work, brothers and sisters. And the other thing I wanted to say is that some of you are also really moved by the idea of conscious conception. And let's all hold space and stay in the blessings and the blissings for those couples that are consciously bringing in the platinum star children right now. So hold a lot of loving space for those couples that are making love to bring in the beautiful, blessed star children. So all week this week, right up to the new moon, keep holding that divine space and sending out incredible love and Shakti, that beautiful goddess of sexual love, Venus and Freya. We had that 7/7 crop circle that was Venus's star with many little Venus's stars. And it was like Venus and all her beautiful Venusian offspring. I mean, that's what I saw, with like dodecahedrons, which are spirit and the platonic solid. So the spirit of the goddess is with us. That's what that crop circle said for me. Claude, do you want to add anything, hon?
No, but that's great.
Yeah.
Everything.
Claude is so supportive. This is the support, you all, behind all my videos and everything I do, is this man who loves me.